Grand day, amazing souls. How are you feeling? So today, I come with a different one. So, have you ever been so uncomfortable that you became comfortable in the uncomfortability? I know that was a weird one, but it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I am recording this June the 25th. However, I am fasting, so you will not see this until I come off my fast, right? Y'all. So listen, I have been so uncomfortable, and this is no lie. I have been extremely uncomfortable. First of all, my son is in Taurus, okay? My son is in Taurus. And for those who do not understand what that means, it means that I love my luxuries. I love living the luxurious life. You know, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, fine. I don't give a crap what y'all say. I don't want to be scraping and scrounging and crying and, not knowing where my next is going to come from, you know? And man, me saying it just made me want to tear up, not because of, maybe because of a couple of things. So I might have to resurface that. However, I want to get this message out. Um, so just a couple of days ago, which will be about 2 weeks for y'all, um, on the 23rd, my energy, my electric was due to be turned off, right? And it was just such unforeseen circumstances, and the bill was only $100, y'all. Like seriously, and I'm like, y'all really want to cut me off for $100? And I've learned in the state of Texas, their regulations and their rules are so different from Maryland. And it really taught me a valuable lesson, especially being that I am ready to play the game of money, right? Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. 2, 3, 4, right? And, you know, uh, y'all might ask, why is she telling her business? I don't care. Y'all can talk about me to the moon, people going to talk anyway. So this is the reason that I am sharing this is because maybe, just maybe, I can assist someone else in their journey, right? So my bill was due to be cut off. That was 3 days ago. 2 days ago. 2 days ago, my bad. The day the 25th, that was the 23rd. So it was due to be off by the cutoff date was the 23rd. That was the last day to pay the bill. And the 24th, they claimed they was going to cut it off. So I'm calling and calling and calling and calling and calling, right? And I could not get no assistance from nothing and no one, y'all. I mean, nothing and no one. And I felt like my higher self was just sitting there looking at me like, is she okay? Why is she doing all that scrounging around and tuffling and, in such a kerfluffle? And it was like in the moment of that high priestess energy, I just surrendered. And I was like, I even cried. And I was like, in my mind, these thoughts started coming. And at some point, I was like, what am I doing? I could not believe that I allowed myself to go to that place in that space. But I realized that I am part human in this place, in this space, right? And I had to shift that energy and come back. And once I surrendered, I received a phone call. I swear to you or not. I swear. And, it really shocked me because the energy behind the phone call, it was just so welcoming, right? And even though I called this person, she came to my aid in 4, 5, 6 in such an amazing way. And, I'm just grateful to know that the universe always works in my favor. And it's so crazy because, look, I just shifted my whole energy. I went from excited to like just calm. And I think that was the energy that I was in when I was talking about it, and the energy after the bill was paid. It was like this, even though I felt a sense of surrender, that sense of peace and calm just washed over me after the bill was paid. And one of those things was, I didn't want my girls to look at me as a failure. You know, I done packed us up and moved us all the way across the country with nothing and no one. Their dad won't give me 2 red pennies at all for nothing. I ain't gonna lie, he do send them money, but they can do what they want with their money. Now, mind you, they are only 10 and 13. And the crazy thing about it is, they had 2 times the amount of money in their on their cards, but I could not ask them for that. I couldn't. Like I was like, I'm not doing it. And sometimes, and in my experiences may not be your experiences. Y'all never, y'all, you know, I've gone through some things that maybe not maybe, but I've gone through some things to where I had to go through that experience to learn something new for tomorrow, for that moment, right? And I'm okay with that. I'm just grateful that bill is paid, and it's okay. I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, sometimes we have to be so uncomfortable with being uncomfortable that it hurts, it pains. But once we really stop and look at it, it's like, what made me really surrender and help me shift that energy? This is what it was. I said, why am I, why is my energy in a kerfluffle? Because what's going to be is what's going to be, right? And I said to myself, I cannot control this situation, especially at this point. I cannot control it. So I had to really surrender. I had to be uncomfortable with being comfortable. I mean, I had to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And every thought went through my mind. It is hot as I was about to say. It is hot in Texas. If anyone lives in Texas or know about Texas, it is hot. So to sit in an apartment where it is nothing but heat floating in the air, whoo! Even when it rains, it don't cool it off. Like, it's still hellfire hot out there. But yeah, I'm just grateful that I was able to shift my energy, and that's the whole point of me telling y'all this. If I don't even want to think of what would have happened or could have happened if I did not shift my energy. The thing is that I was able to shift my energy, and it just worked in my favor. And sometimes, we have to just stop. Just stop and look at the bigger picture, right? And for me, I'm more of a detail individual. I don't see the bigger picture. I look at the details, the finer things. But there's a bigger picture at play usually. So I don't know if this is for everyone that's going to watch this, or if it's something that is coming up for you. Pay attention to your energy. Watch how you shift your energy, right? Watch how you allow your energy to be shifted, because that's the most important part right there. Are we allowing our energy to be shifted? Are these truly our thoughts? And I had to think about that. And I'm like, wait a minute. I haven't even been living in this energy for months. Where did this come from? Right? But I get it. And I can't blame anyone but myself, even if I was around others who thought like this. I chose to be around individuals that thought in lack mindset, right? But I still feel like I have work to do around the lack mindset. Even though I know sometimes I need a refresher or a tweaking, it's sort of like, hey, are you down there? You there? You there? You good? We good? Okay. All right, we got you. The universe plays too freaking much sometimes, but you just gotta really see the human in it and not take it so personal, right? So beware of your thoughts because your thoughts are what shifts energy. Period. 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 The one thing I do know is the universe always works in my favor, right? So with that being said, I got one announcement. Um, so I have created my spiritual life coaching practice 11/11. Wow, I don't. Woo, and Um, I am doing from the 1st of July up until the 14th of July. I am doing free consultations. So if you are up to receiving a free consultation by yours truly, please look down in the description below. It should be a link in that description to book a session with me. Be sure to follow the specific instructions because the free link is in the description below as well. It's 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 talked about. It's written in plain. If you're one of those like me that don't pay attention to details, I'm not. Pay attention to the details because I put it specifically in the description down below how to get to the free link in my bio link. And with that being said, I love you. I love me. I love us. I love we. Pay attention and get uncomfortable. 12:34. Get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Woo, the words. All right, peace. Have an amazing rest of your day.